Welcome back everybody to 31 Days of Horror, and we're continuing on with the series with 1953's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. So directed by Eugene Laurie, who also went on to do the likes of Gorgo, The Giant Behemoth, and The Colossus of New York. Last of those is not my favourite of his four that I've seen, because he only directed four in fact, but they're all still fairly solid. And this is a science fiction horror monster film, clocking in at 80 minutes long. Stars the likes of Paul Hubschmid, who also was in Funeral in Berlin, Paula Raymond, who was in City That Never Sleeps, and Cecil Kellaway, who's the only one out of the three that I've seen any other horror films from, and he was in the likes of Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte, The Invisible Man Returns, and one of the numerous Mummy sequels, The Mummy's Hand. So the controlled explosion of an atomic bomb in the Arctic Circle awakens a frozen dinosaur that will wreak havoc in New York City. So though they're not the first creature feature film, it certainly was the first of a wave of similar films in the 50s, while also managing to combine nuclear paranoia within the genre, which would obviously play a role in a lot of these kind of creature feature monster films in the 50s. You know, we look at Lem, which we already looked at, that also was dealing with nuclear radiation. So, yeah, the, I do apologise. The monster effects and destruction scenes are where this film really shines, though. As I say, mostly hold up, even to this day, while providing plenty of entertainment and thrills. Though without a solidly paced plot and likeable characters, this would have been a slog. Thankfully, they are both here, coupled with a good score and solid themes, and it is an engaging effort throughout. So, yeah, definitely one of my favourites from the 50s, another 4.5 stars out of 5, just like them. Although, unlike that film, this has more revolutionary kind of effects, whereas them has good effects. I like the fact that the creatures are on set with the cast and such, and they are look reasonably impressive for their size. At the end of the day, they're not able to do all that much because they are physical aspects of the real world. Whereas this, because we are working with stop motion animation due to the excellent work of Ray Harryhausen, who's this is the first film he actually worked on solo. His previous film, Mighty Joe Young, he worked on with Willis O'Brien, who famously did the effects for King Kong. But yeah, this was his first solo outing, and it showed that he really did have the magic juice to really, put these fantastical creatures on the screen in excellent style. And yeah, although it's not his best work, it really did show that stop motion animation could be a way of showing these kind of films in the showing these monsters in a way that is highly effective but also entertaining as well. So yeah, this is another HMV Premium Collection release. So we get a Blu-ray and a DVD with this. We also get the nice slipcover that I showed earlier, and we get a few art cards as well. Now one of these unfortunately got damaged due to a frame falling off while it was on the wall. So yeah, you can see the little crease mark there. And then we get shots from the film. So yeah, I love the design of the Redosaurus. And even though it doesn't destroy a lot, certainly not in comparison to, say, Godzilla from the year after, which was apparently inspired by this film, it still destroys a fair decent amount. You got a couple of cars, blasts through one building, destroys a whole roller coaster in the final fight. So, yeah, overall, a really rather good film, and like I said, one of my favourites, and a yeah, massive influence on plenty of future visual film effects artists as well. Like James Cameron and Peter Jackson and such, who were highly inspired by this film. And yeah, quite frankly, if it wasn't for a film like this, we might well not have had their films, regardless of how you rate those films themselves. But still, yeah, absolutely superb effort. One of the finest examples of its type from the 50s. Obviously, like I said, Ray Harryhausen would go on to do even more, lavish kind of work. But for my money, this is probably my favourite of his, even though it's not the best of his actual work itself. Certainly not as expansive as, say, his final film, Clash of the Titans, but still, it really did show that he could do what could do to really sell the monster on the screen. And yeah, even though the other elements of this, combining his stop motion animation work with the live action isn't the best, that's something that he'd go on to really make work even better in future films, like Jason and the Argonauts and the Sinbad trilogy. So yeah, but still, fantastic film, one that I highly recommend seeing. But if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.